The Isuzu MU-X range has undergone significant changes as part of the lineup's latest update, and those changes include a tweaked chassis, a new suspension setup, a whole bunch of new driver assist technology, and of course all MU-Xs have that off-road traction control system on steroids, otherwise known as rough terrain mode. But even bigger news as part of this update is the fact that the MU-X lineup now has a new top shelf variant, and that's this, the X-Terrain. Now, is it worth your consideration, and how does it go off-road? Well, that's what we're here to find out, so stick around. The MU-X X-Terrain has a driveway price of just under $74,000, and that was correct at time of filming, so make sure you check with your local dealership. Exterior paint jobs include white, silver or black, or you can opt for slate grey, which is on our test vehicle, and that's an exclusive colour to the X-Terrain. Now, all premium paint jobs come at an extra cost of $695. Standard features in the MU-X X-Terrain include this 9-inch multimedia touchscreen, and that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The X-Terrain also has an 8-speaker sound system. You get an 8-way power adjustable driver's seat and a 4-way power adjustable front passenger seat. And there's a whole lot more, too much to go into here. But for even more details, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au. The MU-X has always had a rather inoffensive look, and that's fine for a contemporary SUV, but over time Isuzu has streamlined its design, its profile, and it's not too hard on the eyes. The grille on the X-Terrain is a bit of a honeycomb sort of design. There's a little bit of XT badging around the vehicle itself. It does have side steps. It does have highway tyres, which I'll talk about later. Inside there's a little bit of red stitching on the seats and on the upholstery elsewhere. Overall, it's a subtle look, but it's quite effective. In terms of practicality and comfort, the X-Terrain ticks pretty much all the boxes. There are some nice soft touch surfaces. There's a fair bit of red stitching all over the place, and that looks pretty good. That works well in this space. The seats are really nice and supportive. The second row is even pretty good, and I'm told by the kids even the third row is pretty good. Plenty of shoulder room, plenty of knee room. So you really can't go wrong in here, and the X-Terrain just adds that little bit of polish to the whole package. One part of the MU-X that hasn't changed, and all for the better, is the rear cargo area. There's about 311 litres back here in terms of cargo area space. You get 4 tie downs, 2 in the floor, 2 on the side. You get a 12-volt power socket, a bit of a lighting arrangement, and you're able to put these seats down to open up that cargo area a bit more, and also, of course, put down the second row of seats, and that opens that cargo area up even further. All in all, a pretty usable, functional space. The MU-X has a 3-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, and that produces 140 kilowatts and 450 newton meters, and that's paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. These are part of a proven powertrain. It's more sluggish than dynamic, but it is a very tractable engine, and that's important when you're four-wheel driving, and I like it. It has a nice rough charm about it. This MU-X also has a part-time four-wheel drive system, and that has high and low range four-wheel drive gearing. The MU-X has always been okay on road and reasonably okay on fast gravel, dirt tracks, that sort of thing. But there was always a bit of jarriness, a bit of skippiness to the ride. Well, even before you get to the low range four-wheel driving, it's obvious that Isuzu have worked hard of comments from their customers to iron out any issues, minor or otherwise, in the suspension, because it is a whole lot better in terms of ride and handling on fast gravel tracks, dirt roads, that sort of thing. And they're indicative of the kinds of terrain, the kinds of surfaces you'll be driving to get to the low range four-wheel driving. The MU-X has always had an effective combination of this dependable 3-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, a 6-speed automatic transmission, a well-calibrated off-road traction control system that's been developed and recalibrated through a number of generations, and its mechanicals and its driver assist tech combined to make a very effective four-wheel drive package. And there are a number of reasons for that. For one thing, Isuzu has worked really hard to recalibrate the rough terrain mode, which performs like an off-road traction control system but on steroids. And it's effective because it punches torque to the wheel with the most traction, and that way it keeps you moving with safe and controlled momentum. It minimises wheel spin on the tyres that aren't touching dirt, and it gets you through. And if rough terrain mode's not enough, and it certainly is, you can rely, you've always got the rear diff lock. And obviously that's another valuable component in your off-road driving toolkit. Low range gearing is good with plenty of torque down low and across a nice spread of revs. And the MU-X also has hill descent control, and that's really important, keeping you to low speeds, a nice, safe, composed momentum down a hill. Can be as steep as you want. What? There we go. Oh yeah, there we go, and down we go. Those side steps just feel a little bit too low to me. The MU-X has about 235 mil of ground clearance, and that's as listed. But as always before in this SUV, I've noted that it just seems a little bit vulnerable in the underbody and on those side steps and on those plastic mud guards. So you will touch earth, depending on how tricky the terrain is. You will scratch the dirt, you'll get a few scuff marks here and there. Side steps on the MU-X have copped a beating, not on this test, but through previous tests from other journos or at launch where this vehicle was used. But they're kinds of badges of honour, I guess, for some people. But with a bit of focused and concentrated driving, you'll minimise any superficial damage or scuff marks to the MU-X, and you'll still manage to have lots of fun. This four-wheel drive wagon is a nice balance of driver assist tech and old school mechanicals. That engine, while it is a bit noisy when really pushed, and in cabin it's not as refined as some people might like across, well, most surfaces. I like it. It's got a nice rough charm about it. That engine is really tractable. It's got plenty of grunt, and as long as you're not driving like a mad hoon, you can usually get through most obstacles without a lot of fuss. So apart from off-road angles that suit a more city-friendly SUV than something that you might consider as a serious off-road touring platform, the MU-X has plenty of potential about it, and it is very, very capable. The X-Terrain does have one issue though, and it's something that a lot of contemporary four-wheel drive wagons come out of the showroom with, and that is road biased tyres. They just aren't suited to four-wheel driving, and that is an easy fix because you just swap in a set of decent all-terrain tyres, and a vehicle that is very capable straight out of the showroom, even on highway terrain tyres, is made even more capable as soon as you put all-terrain rubber on it. If you are considering using your MU-X as an off-road tourer, it's handy to note that it can legally tow 750 kilograms unbraked and 3,500 kilograms braked, and that's pretty much the standard for four-wheel drive wagons in the mid to large range. Official fuel consumption for this MU-X is 8.3 litres per 100 kilometres, and that's on a combined cycle. On this test I recorded 10.2 litres per 100 kilometres, but I have done a lot of high and low range four-wheel driving. The MU-X has an 80 litre fuel tank, so going by my on-test fuel consumption figures, from a full tank you could reasonably expect a driving range of about 780 kilometres. The The MU-X range has the maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating, and that's from testing conducted in July 2022. Standard safety gear includes 8 airbags and a comprehensive suite of driver assist tech. Now that driver assist tech has undergone some changes. There's new hardware for the AEB system. There's a digital reversing camera and that lane keep assist system, which was a bit annoying in past generations of the MU-X. It was a bit overreactive, a bit preemptive. That has mostly been ironed out. Now, for even more details on this vehicle, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au. The MU-X is covered by a 6-year, 150,000 kilometre warranty, and cap price servicing does apply. You also get 7 years of roadside assistance. Servicing appointments are scheduled for every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres. And for the first 5 of those appointments, it will cost you $469 a pop. Even before this significant round of updates, there's always been plenty to like about the MU-X in terms of four-wheel drive capability, driver assist tech, standard features, and just all-round drivability. And the good news is the X-Terrain encompasses all of those things, and it adds a little bit of polish to the mix. It really is an impressive addition to the MU-X lineup. But what do you reckon? Have your say in the comments section below. And as always, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au.